and whatever that means, whatever how you define that. But I also wonder, as being a transplant to this area, is why aren't white people out there picking lettuce, working the fields? And because you know what, it is hard work, but I know some folks that have done it and it pays okay. And but you know, this has been the way it's always been. So are we going to put and make these opportunities available for people that have been here and the generations of poor people that are citizens, no matter what color they are? Or are we going to create these opportunities for people who are coming across the border now? That's the difference.
Yeah, and I agree with Stevie P. Let's employ of all of our, I'm going to say this, and I know Jay's going to hate this because I'm usually the liberal, the extreme liberal on here. I say let nobody in. I say no one should be able to come in. The vast majority of the majority of illegal people in this country are not from South America. They're not from Mexico. They're from people that fly here and overstay their welcomes, overstay their visas. So let's get rid of those people. Let's stop letting people in. We can't fix our own house. Why would we have people over? That's my thing. So don't let anybody in, and let's start tossing some of these low rent, shitty, drug addicted, social program Americans on the other side of the fence. That's what I say. Let's not take anyone in, and let's start weeding out some of these lazy asses that don't want to do anything.
Yeah, sucking up on social programs. Exactly right. Exactly right. Got to clean house before we open the house, right?
Yeah, you don't invite people over when your house isn't constructed. And right now, ours is falling apart, literally, infrastructure-wise. Let's fix our stuff. Let's use our money to fix our stuff. Because I don't know the numbers, and I'm guessing, and somebody maybe could correct me, but I would think if we just looked at south of the border, I would imagine 70% of those people south of the border would love to come to America. That amounts to about 500 million people. Can we allow those people over? No. We can't. We can't allow that number over. We can't allow a fraction of that. Destroy our economy.
I don't think that many people are going to be interested in the globe. A lot of people, if their home is not unstable, they want to stay. You know, they want to grow up in the where they grow up. I mean, that's just where they're from. And so it's when it becomes unstable where they want to depart and migrate. And
that's a good point, Jay. Is America not responsible for much of the instability in South America?
Oh yeah, we definitely
are.
And just like anything
Why?
else, just like
why are we
else,
responsible?
Because our military, our CIA have intervened in various countries over time to try to direct, like we've done all over the world.
Yeah, they set up
trying to direct their
government.
politics.
Exactly right. Exactly. Well, it's we're looking out for our own interests. We're very selfish that way. We're very selfish.
We want our neighbors to be democracies. We want our neighbors to be people that agree with our goals and that type of thing. So we've run the one that stands out that we couldn't get out of office was Fidel Castro in Cuba. He was the one that could stand strong, but that was because he was backed by Russia and the communists. But everyone else, if you look at South America and the history since World War II, we've intervened in almost every country in South America to one degree or the other.
Well, South and Central America, we've run game on them for a long time.
Yes.
And, you know, we're going to continue to throw money at corrupt governments. And whenever we get someone in there and say, oh, this is a great guy, well, guess what? They become corrupt down the road. Noriega is a good example of that. Other leaders down there. So, you know, Harris, who's supposed to be going down, again, I don't want to get in the border thing because I agree, Anthony, with some of the things you said, but again, this is out of control. And for them to say that it was Trump's fault, it's bullshit. They opened it up. They knew what they were doing, and they're flooding. They want these people in this country, and all she's going to do is take wheelbarrows full of money and give it to these corrupt leaders. It doesn't trickle down to the people. It never does. And so is it our job to fix? Well, kind of is, but we're not going to fix it. We're just going to spin it.
And we're sustain it. Exactly.
We're going to spin it. And but the fix would be, okay, so you had a bad weather, you know, you have a corrupt government. Well, here in our country, we can vote people out, we can vote people in. In their country, they can do it. But again, it's a little slanted. But at the same time, people can make a difference. So do you have to flee to make a difference? If we're going to open our gates, absolutely, they're going to flee here because again, we are the land of opportunity. And but what is that opportunity? Because when you're starting at that level with just a shirt on your back, you know, it's pretty tough, which means you're on a taxpayer social program. That's draining again to our country and the people who do live here. So stay where you are and make a difference where you are. We're gonna show up with money anyway. You're gonna get, or your corrupt leaders are gonna get.
Or how about you fix your own damn country? How about that? How about you stay there and fight? I believe we had to fight in 1776. I believe we had to fight 1861 to 1865. I believe in the early 1900s, we fought to get women's rights and all this other thing. We've had fights, we've had wars, we've had this type of thing in our country to get it to the point it is. And I would say, I think it's kind of at a shitty point, but still it's a higher point than 99% of the countries. Why not stay and fix your shit? Because we're not set up for this. And I didn't blame Trump for we've had this problem with immigration since the 70s that I can remember. So it's been every president. No one wants to solve it because big business wants cheap labor. Absolutely. They want it. So as long as big business is running the government, which they always have, we will not solve this problem because Trump employed illegal immigrants in Mar-a-Lago. Every major corporation does it if they can get away with it. And that's why it's allowed, because it feeds them.
Hey, immigration is like Michael Jordan. You cannot stop it. You can only hope to contain it. Okay?
And, yeah, you might be right.
And that's where we're at right now. You know, you got to put your finger in the hole, and then you got to put your finger in another hole. But I think the numbers that I saw this month are down, or this last couple of weeks are down from before, like last month. So something is happening where the numbers are dropping as far as the kids coming into, coming across the border as well. And today is a celebration of a fight. Today is Cinco de Mayo. It's when the Mexicans defeated the French at a time, and this is a reenactment image here behind me, and
it wasn't the Mexican army though. Let's make this clear.
Okay, who was it?
The citizens, the peasants, the farmers who rose up.
They rose up, and then they defeated the French for a little while, and then they ended up coming in and taking over the space for a while. And then, but their independence is not until September 16th. But I don't know the year of that. Do you guys know the year of September 16th when that happened and all that? Okay. So, but Cinco de Mayo isn't really celebrated too much down south of the border as much as it is up here. And does anybody know how it became such a big thing up here?
You're drinking one.
Good one. That's a good one.
It's marketing, man.
It's marketing.
The party. It's about marketing beer and fiesta and party.
So it's all about business, just like everything else. All about business.
Right. Fake news and fake celebrations.
They say in Mexico they don't even celebrate it.
Right.
Yeah. So we're just talking about, so Dad. So in our World Peace Park, would you celebrate Cinco de Mayo?
In our World Peace Park, we're going to represent every holiday of every country and every faith group in the world on the day that they supposedly celebrate. And I want to tell you, I want to get off of this now. I want to go back to what we were discussing before. I think we need to go back to the Monroe Doctrine. We need to tell all these countries, we're not going to support you anymore. We can't keep giving billions and billions of dollars to foreign governments. We need to pay off our own bills. Now we're $30 trillion in debt. I want to tell you something. When you guys hit my age, I don't think there's going to be United States of America anymore. I think United States of America is going to be in the history books like the Roman Empire, because we got to pay the debt. And we can't keep giving away free money. I mean, the people, they don't want to come back to work because their unemployment checks are more than what they were making working. So why the hell would you want to go back to work?
Rise of the machines, Marvin. Rise of the machines. Those little cell phones that everybody carries are taking over. and people are going away. You're right. There won't be a United States. It's going to be digitized world and the oligarchy that we live in with the elite running it. People are just going to go by the wayside a little bit each decade. Less babies are being born every year, for example,
In America.
Yeah.
But in other countries, they're knocking them right out.
See, I think that's one of the myths that we pitch is I love it. I went by KFC the other day and they had a sign up on the drive-thru that said, you have to excuse our service if it's slow because the government's paying people to stay at home instead of work. And if I could have, I'd have bashed the window out of that KFC because essentially what they're saying is because we can't get these poor people to work for fucking shit wages. If they paid, unemployment pays a little less than $15 an hour. So if these places paid $15, $16, or $17 an hour, guess what? People would show up for work. But when you pay your people shit wages to do shit jobs, and now they get a vacation after 30 or 40 years, now these people get to go, you know what? I can ride this for 4 months. I say the poor people should be surfing in the streets until the shit runs out because they've earned a break. They've earned a vacation because they've done the shit jobs. They were the ones we sent out as if pizza delivery was an essential job. Remember that?
Yeah.
They were the ones we sent out there to get COVID for chump change. So I think they should ride this shit out forever because I can tell you this, Trump and his buddies, all the Dems and the Republicans at the high end, they were getting those PPP loans for millions. Tom Brady got $1 million PPP loan. Okay, they're not paying that shit back. I mean, we're worried about some guy over here making $725. Get out of here. They've always got us focused on the wrong people. People made a killing. The rich made a killing of COVID and the lockdown.
Well, the rich got richer, and what you said about KFC is interesting because that is true. And people. I was just reading this today. It's not that, and unemployment and the subsidy to unemployment did make a difference, absolutely. But the other thing that made a difference is people reevaluated and they decided that they were going to look for other work, and they did. So I know here, I live in Monterey County, we don't have enough bodies. And if you're in a big city, you're in a metropolitan area, you have the body, the people have figured out that I don't want to do that anymore. I'm going to get a job in an office. I'm going to get in the trades. I'm going to do this. I'm going back to school. I'm going to do something else. And people have done that. Absolutely. And when you look at fast food, you look at hospitality, it was the line cooks had the highest percentage of COVID. Yep. And because again, these areas are small, it's hot. I don't think they all wear masks. I don't think they're all vaxxed up, and they work their asses off. So we put people in hospitality in a perilous situation, and they went to work, and they should be applauded for the jobs they did, when in actuality, we could have all just eaten at home.
Exactly. We acted, yeah.
I ate at home.
Yes.
I ate at home.
Yeah. That's what was so funny is we acted as a society as if we did not know how to make food at home. I thought it was hilarious watching this happen because I got 3 or 4 friends that deliver pizza for Domino's, and they were freaking out at the beginning of this about, I don't know what I'm going to get. And if you ever go to one of those Domino's, they're jam-packed with employees and they're running in and out constantly. And I was like, I can't make a pizza here in the house. Like I can't buy one for $2 at the store. But it was all about convenience. It wasn't really about who was essential. That's one of my complaints about the right. It's always, I'm wearing this mask, I got to do this. It was all about convenience. I had cancer as a kid. Guess what? Some of my liberties were infringed upon. I had histoplasmosis as a teenager. My liberties, when I blew out my knee, I couldn't do a lot of shit that I could before my knee. Now we're sick as a nation. Guess what? We're going to lose some of our freedoms. That's how it works.
Your health problems, I'm sorry. I listen to AOC. Your health problems are all because of global warming. That's what it is.
That's how it is. I need to eat more weeds.
Global
That
warming
alone is a convenience.
Yeah.
Yes.
Global warming. So don't you blame it on our health system. It's global warming.
I'm blaming it on the illegals.
Well, listen, so today is Cinco de Mayo, and so with that we have we're celebrating the culture of the Mexican people today, and that powers into our World Peace Park. We got the food, we got the celebrations, and then of course we have the marketing of the drinking, right? You remember this commercial here, the best Budweiser commercial?
Oh yeah,
of
the
the air.
frogs.
And then of course when we have too much drinking, then the Mexicans look over the border like this, and they're like, "What the hell's going on?"
They don't have
And
Chihuahua
then-
anymore, do they? Did they say that was racist? Having
What's that?
a Chihuahua years ago in Budweiser commercials.
I don't know, but then all the Americans out there looking at Americans look at the beach. They fell at the beach like this. And so, welcome to America and welcome to Cinco de Mayo. Okay, so with that said, let's move on. So this is an advertisement that's in the Foolish Times paper, who's one of our sponsors, who's Stevie P's businesses. And thank you very much, Stevie P, for putting this out there. And so for anybody that wants to join us every week. All right, so it's good to have.
They have a great article this month, a great article on a wonderful comedian this month. You want to check it out. His name's Anthony Torino. Thank you so much, Stevie P. I was just reading it. Thank you so much.
Very nice, very nice. Well, listen, I appreciate that, and that's awesome that Stevie P did an interview with Anthony Torino, and Anthony does comedy across the states and wherever he can, and we'll try to bring him out here soon enough once he gets his shots and all that good stuff, and we all
That's right.
that protocol in order. So before we get into local politics again, since we have a couple veterans on the call, Anthony Torino is also a veteran. We're talking about the Afghan withdrawal has been on the news. And we've been there for how many years? 20 plus
20.
years now?
20 years.
years.
20
Yeah.
years. And I thought Trump was going to bring him out last year, and he changed his mind.
Yeah, he could have won the election if he did that. He could have won the election if he would have made marijuana legal federally, but he didn't. Okay, back to you, Marvin. So, back to you.
Back to me for what?
Oh, nothing. There, okay, we're good. Okay,
You're talking about Afghanistan, Jay.
Afghanistan.
Wasn't it Afghanistan? They defeated Genghis Khan. They defeated the British. They defeated the Soviets. What did we do for 20 years? So we
We do
might as
shit.
well leave.
We lost a lot of American lives
Yeah,
in
but
20 years.
And you know what? And fuck the American lives. We killed over 1 million people in the Middle East on a lie.
We got
We went there on a lie.
Exactly
I'll
right.
get out of there. But again, Trump was bringing everyone home May 1st, and now Biden is saying it's going to be 9/11. So it's like, why couldn't you have done it earlier, dude? And it's all politics. It's all posture.
It is. It is. Coming up with dates.
One of our writers is over there. She calls it the sandbox.
Yeah, that's what.
She's over there
That's
for a couple months,
common name.
and she ain't coming home for a while.
Exactly.
And it's safe. She's safe. She's got a husband and a daughter here. I know we all worry about her. We want her home. But at this point, they can bring him home. And Biden say not May 1st, because again, he didn't create that date. The Trump administration did. And then now he's pushing it to 9/11 because, again, that's a historic date in our country for what happened. It's wrong.
Trump said everyone would be back in the first 100 days. And 4 years later, they're still there.
This is Lisa off camera right now correcting me.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
did you hear that? Did you hear what she said?
Now, Biden is doing it for the theatrics of the day.
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
without a doubt.
yes. Yeah.
JR, what branch were you in, JR?
I was a Marine for 4 years. I got some combat training, and then I joined Navy intelligence in 1989. So I did 16 years in Navy intelligence, all overseas in the 7th Fleet, all Pacific and South Pacific.
Okay, I appreciate it. Let me ask you, why can't the most powerful military in the history of the world defeat a bunch of sand-dwelling,
Exactly.
hut-living?
Sixth
Why can't we
century
defeat
cave
them?
dwellers? Because we don't want to. We want to keep
There
the
you go.
military industrial complex needs to keep rolling and generating revenue.
I
And-
could make love to you in your uniform right now, JR. I appreciate your honesty.
That's what it is, but we're not doing like we did in, after our last traditional war, Vietnam, which really just was a lot of population control. And, but we're not having to
a
build
police
a
action.
lot of weaponry that we're reusing. And recyclable. So we lost that part. But at the same time, I agree. We can go over there, we can kick some ass, we can make things the way we want it to be, and leave. We can get out of it. And then if they start screwing up again, we don't have to go back. Then if the kids want to keep.
Well, we call it a dog and pony show. It just goes on and on and on.
Yes.
But it's all about oil too. It's all about revenue and oil. And that's
right.
Right. It has not. This is JR is probably new to me. I was raised military, then I joined the military. We are so full of shit on this.
I agree.
We have no desire. We didn't learn a damn thing from Korea. We didn't learn anything from Vietnam. And I don't mean the military. I mean the general public. The general public, if they had an IQ above 10, could put together the fact that we've gone to Korea, Vietnam, and the Middle East. We have no desire to win these wars.
Oh,
we have a desire.
In our best interest.
That's right. It's essentially a cheer pep squad for America. We go off and kill our kids so a bunch of idiots can wave a damn flag and march up and down the street like a bunch of fucking morons. That's what it's about. And it's about feeding the industrial military complex.
And the media. This is ripe. It's perfect for this internet-based society we live in now. For people to walk around and have red, white, and blue T-shirts on every May and every November to celebrate Memorial Day and Veterans Day. It's all for show. It's all just a big show.
Right. I do comedy. I have a group called Crosshairs Comedy. We do money we do shows to raise funds to help wounded warriors and that type of thing. And I always say at the show, if America gave a fuck about any of you, I wouldn't be here raising funds to help you.
Exactly.
Because they don't give a shit about you. Once you come back and you're screwed up mentally, you're screwed up physically, they push you off to the side and want to silence you. You should have anything that you need. You should be handed to you after you went and fought a war based on a lie.
I know. I was at a VA hospital yesterday and I saw veterans in their 20s and 30s, no arms, no legs, eyes. And one guy's walking around, he goes, I got some Oxycontin. And he was shaking and he goes, I got 6 pills. And he had no arms. And I'm saying, holy shit, this is the way the VA takes care of its veterans?
Yes.
It was terrible. You know, it was sad.
I do comedy with Bobby Henline. That was my group. He was blown up by an IED, burnt 50% of his body, missing an arm. And he goes out there, he looks like the monster from the Black Lagoon, but he goes out there and he does comedy. And he learned the hard way that these people don't really give a shit, but he's still waving that flag and let's attack. And I'm like, you haven't learned shit from your own experience, much less the history of America.
He's a human being that's still very much alive and evolving on the inside and growing on the inside. So as far as he's concerned, he still has everything. It's still there. He still has that arm.
Yep.
Exactly.
So hopefully with the budget being reviewed by Bernie Sanders and hopefully with the military being under scrutiny nowadays and everything being under scrutiny with the money being spent, hopefully more money can go towards helping the vets that served and they're underserved. And it's sad that you have all these nonprofits have to kick into gear to help serve the veterans. And all this money that goes into the budget of the military complex that you guys are talking about, you know, how much is it for one of those kind of F-16 planes or whatever they're called?
That's,
I mean,
$50 million a jet now. And when are we going to actually go and fight China and Russia in the skies up in the air? We're not.
Right, exactly.
Air combat.
It's never going to happen.
We got enough of those ships to hold us over for a couple more years before they catch up to our
3
advancement.
decades.
Right. So we're good. We're good there. We don't need to spend another $15 million on another airplane next year or this year or anything else. And so with that money, I mean, hopefully there's the money that I mean, one airplane can take care of a whole bunch of people. And so,
Jay, let me say, we have enough ICBMs to give every person in Russia their own ICBM. That's how stupid we are as a nation. Okay, so we just spend money on top of, but how about this? Instead of inventing these wars, and JR, I'd love to get your opinion on it. Instead of inventing these wars, could we not use our military to help rebuild our infrastructure?
Absolutely right.
Exactly. I'm going to give you a great example. I joined the Air Force. My brother joined the Army. I got a degree in occupational therapy. My brother was a tank driver. Guess how many jobs he found as a tank driver when he got out? Zero. He's an attorney now. He went to school and he's an attorney now. But What if we took these military and kept them in our borders and had them build the new green deal and transfer us to solar and transfer us to wind, and they actually learn skills that they could use for the rest of their lives?
Exactly.
Wouldn't that be a brighter way to use our
my
military?
God.
Absolutely right.
I want to tell you guys something. If there's another war, any kind of war, we're all going to be gone because they're going to push buttons and we're going to get annihilated.
Melted.
So I don't even know why we have the big
Marvin,
military anymore.
Remember Sun Tzu and the Art of War? He says war is fought on paper before people actually send troops halfway around the world. It's already, and a bank is involved. Every time there's a war, a bank is involved. And that's where the funding comes from. You can't just have a war. A bank has to be involved.
Right now, it's the very rich that are lobbying all these people in Congress to keep the money flowing for war materials, because the number one export of the United States is munitions. It's not anything else.
Exactly
Number
right.
one export.
And I think one of our biggest customers is Saudi Arabia.
Who was the ones who brought down the towers? Yet somehow we're in Afghanistan and Iraq attacking people because they trained there. Those pilots also trained in Florida and Texas. Did we invade Florida and Texas? No, because we're full of shit.
Exactly. We borrowed, I don't know how much money we borrowed from China so we could build a submarine to spy on China.
Right. It is truly a corrupt system. Yes.
It doesn't matter. We could do all these things, and we have the Seabees too that build things for the United States, and but what we do here could be an influence on a lot of people, a lot of other countries. Although the big push now is technology in 5 and 6G, and that's where China's scary. And China doesn't give a shit about peace. They don't give it like when Carter was selling grain for detente or giving grain for detente in Russia years ago. China doesn't care. They don't care. They don't value life the way we do. And if we want to go down that road, we are sadly mistaken, because we're all going to be speaking Chinese, just trying to be nice and build our own infrastructure and do the right thing as we see it. Because the Chinese don't give a shit. And they're going to
different mindset.
Well, actually, I would disagree. I think we always paint the enemies with that brushstroke of they don't give a shit. I could make the case that we don't give a shit about our people in this country.
Right.
I could make a great case that
Right.
China doesn't want to go to war with us. We both will be destroyed.
That's
Okay,
right.
we're both not going to survive. So China doesn't want to go to war with us. Russia doesn't want to. It's all a game they play.
Right.
Okay, so I don't think the Chinese people are any worse than the American people. I don't think China values their people. I don't think America values their people. Obviously, we send them away to go in war. We kill them in the streets. We don't give a shit. We watch them starve when we got more than enough food. So I don't know that the Chinese are any worse than anybody. The Chinese are trying to turn themselves into an industrialized country. They're doing that now. They have an advantage on us because they don't have anyone fighting them on their side to convert from oil and that type of stuff. They're starting new now. So they're going to move at a much quicker pace than us because we have to drop all the dead weight from behind us. So Hitler was trying to make deals with England so he didn't have to go to war with England. Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go to war with another power, especially now. We have the power, like you said, like Marvin said, to push a button and that country's gone. But when we push that button, our country's gone too.
That's true.
And the world's gone.
Very
So
good.
I don't think
destruction. MAD.
exactly. So I don't think the Chinese are any worse.
But there's
Yeah,
more.
the only people left will be the people in outer space.
No, it'll be the Texans because they
station.
all have guns. All the Texans will survive because they have guns and they can fight for themselves like a bunch of idiots.
So we have. So are there any solutions? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, the only one going to be left, Little Rocket Man. He's going
That's
to
right. That's right. Yeah.
All right. So we can go to either coronavirus as a segue. We can go to Rudy Giuliani or Liz Cheney or we could talk about or employees that can't find work, and then we can also go to LeBron James. Where do you guys
Let's go
want
to
to
Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney is getting hotter by the minute to me. To watch someone stand up and go, the king is naked. What is the story? It's not the king, is it? The whoever is naked.
Yeah.
Who was it? The emperor.
The emperor's no clothes.
That's right. The emperor has no clothes. It's beautiful to see, and especially that it's a woman going, y'all are lying. I'm not going along with it. That is true patriotism. I watched Tucker Carlson use the term patriotism. All these people that use patriotism, they call themselves patriots. Very few ever signed a dotted line to put their life on the line. Okay, I could take the life of every asshole that ever used. I wasn't a patriot. I'm not going to lie. I was not a patriot. I joined the military, but like most people, I joined it because I was poor and was looking for opportunities. And I was poor.
College money.
That's right. And I was poor because my dad retired from the military, because you ain't going to make it rich in the military either. You're still going to be functioning poor. But to watch her stand up against this it's unbelievable. I'm loving every minute of it.
Me
Hey,
too.
gentlemen, I have to go. I got to sign off. My kid's coming into the driveway now from the airport. Let's continue. Pick this up next week, Jay. Hit me up with the 5 topics. Gentlemen, it was wonderful speaking minds with powerful minds. I really enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Have
you,
a great
JR.
night. Enjoy your
Here, JR.
Hey,
Thanks,
Semper
JR.
Fi.
Invite anybody you know onto the show next week, all right?
You're darn right I will. I'll get a hold of Spearing. Later, guys.
All right.
Okay, JR, take care.
Have
you
fun
guys
with
too.
your family.
Bye-bye.
Peace, brother. Good to see you.
Yep, you too.
All right. So, was there anything else about Liz Cheney that you wanted to say? Anybody?
I want Stevie P. What do you think about Liz Cheney?
You know, she's got some big cojones.
She really does.
She really does. You know, she put herself out there, and she's kind of an island right now, because when you look at the Republican Party, and she's a powerful woman, the Republican Party is going in a different direction. And I still think there's some folks that really believe in some of the, conservative views that the Republicans once held, maybe 5 years ago, but not as many, or at least they're not voicing that. All I can say is, let's just see where this pans out and how this works out. I'm not going to criticize her. She's making some good points, but let's see where it goes, and let's see what the truth is behind all this. And because I don't trust media. I don't trust what I hear when you say Tucker. I think Tucker is really eloquent, speaks very well, and but some he says are not true. Things may be
Batshit crazy. Batshit crazy. Is that the word you were looking for?
Tucker's a nut.
Again, you have the same story, and you'll watch one channel, and you'll watch another channel. I think, how could they both have the same story and they're like so different? So my take is, I try not to watch any of it, and. But if you're going to put yourself out there like she did, and she's from the, little old state of Wyoming. So that itself is impressive that this country girl is making a stand. And let's see where it goes. Let's see how media treats it. And
what it reminds me of? McCarthyism. Did any of y'all study McCarthyism? When it was McCarthy in the 50s went on the communist rant, and he started going after Hollywood and anyone that he felt like should be taken out of society, and people actually got blacklisted, especially Jewish people in Hollywood. They were blacklisted and no longer allowed to work. And McCarthy was a senator, and he conducted this for about 4 or 5 years very successfully before he was finally brought down and revealed to be the alcoholic and the racist that he was, and it just completely destroyed his life and his career. But McCarthy was, you either accept this message or we'll destroy you. And that I feel like that's what the big lie people are doing on Trump's side. You're going to accept this lie and you're going to repeat it, or we're going to destroy you. And Liz Cheney is the first in that line of people they want to destroy.
You gotta remember this. They did a secretive ballot to try to get Liz Cheney out of being the number 3 person And from what I understand, there was 145 people that voted in favor of Liz Cheney staying as number 3 because it was a secretive ballot. And so she had more Republicans on her side than not on her side.
Right.
And I think that the Republicans are afraid to speak their voice because they're afraid they're not going to get reelected because the rest of the party is going to pull their money or something. And they just don't have the balls to say, listen, I want to make America great. I want to put things back together again the way they should be. And they're afraid. They're afraid to do that because they're afraid that the lobbyists that are giving out the money to make munitions, for these big companies, are going to stop giving them the money. And they're afraid to live on their pay. They're afraid to live on their pay.
And I don't even think it's I believe it's 53%. I don't know. I can't remember the exact number. I could be wrong. 53% of Congress are millionaires. So these people don't need this job and they don't need this money. What they want is that power. Mm-hmm. They want that power because it allows them to make more millions. When I see people post something about we should cut their salaries, they don't give a shit about their congressional salary. That is chump change. That's pocket change to these people. There are billionaires and millionaires in Congress, which is very much part of the problem. They are not a representative democracy. Only one person in Congress does not have a college degree, yet 75 of every 100 people in America don't have a college degree. They are not representative of us at all.
Right. Totally out of touch.
True that. True that. They are not representative of us at all. Go ahead. Anything else there on that one? Were you about to say something, Stevie?
No, again, let's see how this plays out. He says she's got some big balls, big cojones to do what she's doing. And she's the number 3 person, in the House. And, she was voted in by her state for a reason. And again, we'll see how this whole picture plays out. But again, what we're reading in media isn't all factual. And again, let's just see what happens. Let's see where when the dust settles, what happens again with the Republican Party as they move forward into 2022. With midterm elections. Let's see how this works out with Arizona and the recount. What that either stops recounts in other states or it stimulates them to ramp up and do recounts in the other states.
I heard they're doing the recount. Yeah, I heard they're doing the recount on Hunter Biden's laptop. I think Liz Cheney.
Are they going to go back for that? Are they going to go?
Exactly.
Is Rudy going to go in there with it and go, hey guys, are you going to take this from me or not?
Right. I think we're going to look 4 years from now. I think we're going to look at Liz Cheney exactly the way we look at Hillary Clinton, which is that bitch called it all. She predicted the whole fucking thing about Trump. She told us exactly who he was, and we didn't listen. And they went down this slide. And 4 years from now, the Republican Party is not the Republican Party now. It's a different party. It's not the Republicans, as you said, Stevie. If Liz Cheney's ousted and these clowns are able to take this party where they want to go, which is just batshit crazyville, it will not be they will be non-existent. And the Republicans will be running around going, holy shit, we should have listened to Liz, just like the country was saying we should have listened to Hillary after Trump. And what's funny is they look alike. They're both women. The people that's Stacey Abrams. It looks like the women are trying to save us. Let's listen for a change.
I think Stacey Abrams, she's nuts.
Oh, she's fantastic. She's a beautiful nut.
That's a nice segue for a Mother's Day weekend coming up. That's a nice
There we
segue.
go.
All right, I like it. Happy Mother's Day, everybody, and all you mothers out there. You know who I'm talking about.
No matter how you spell it,
I had a neighbor. He told me, an old guy, his neighbor. He goes, "Yeah, I remember back in the day when I was young, I used to go down to the local police department and give a dozen donuts for Mother's Day. They didn't know what the hell I was doing."
Is that how you raise your son?
No, he has no idea. He doesn't know. Hey, so I saw.
I object to Mother's Day because I think it's sexist. The whole idea of Mother's Day is sexist. I think they should eliminate the whole thing.
Oh God!
You know what?
I'm playing.
Father's Day is next month, okay? Father's Day is next month.
It's Mother's Day. We know who our moms are now. Father's Day is very confusing.
Yeah, don't know.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's right. That's right.
Off my door. I got 2 kids that I know of, and I just sweat it out in my place with the door locked, sitting in the corner. Don't knock on my door. The phone's off. I just want to get through the day. Please don't show up my doorstep like, hey, remember that party you were at and this woman you met? Yeah.
Unlike you,
our moms are.
Stevie could have a kid show up at his door and he'd be 50 and it would still work. Like, Dad, I'm here. I'm getting Social Security. Let's share.
Stevie P.
For anything.
Unlike you, Stevie, I got papers.
Hey, if I can take a second, talking about Mother's Day coming up, I don't know if y'all ever heard this story. It's a true story and it's unbelievable. Everybody knows the famous actor Jack Nicholson, right? Yeah. Just a legend, an absolute legend, one of the greatest actors of all time. It wasn't until he was, I believe, 30 years old that he found out that his sister was actually his mother and his mother was his grandmother. His mom had him at 14 or 15 years old and to hide it from the community. They said it was his mother's infant and he was raised to believe his mother was his sister. And he didn't find out until the grandmother died. And they went through the paperwork and that's when he discovered, oh my God, the woman that was actually my grandmother, I thought was my mother. And the woman I thought was my sister is my mother. Amazing.
There's lots of stories like that in our country, man.
Yes.
You know?
And his response was, none of it mattered because they both loved me to death. I thought that was beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah.
Happens with family. That's good stuff. So, so speaking of Tucker Carlson, he was talking about Rudy Giuliani, and he interviewed him, and I saw Tucker Carlson go, "Yeah, it's like East Berlin before the wall fell." And I wrote that down. And I'm like, did I just hear that? Like, did I just hear what he just said? I'm like, yeah, before the wall fell, it was great because we won it. That's like in 1986 or 5 or some 87 or whatever. I mean, anyway. So, Rudy Giuliani, he was raided. And we were just talking about that where he was telling Tucker, he was like, for like 10 minutes, he's going on and on and on. Like, and they forgot these 3 hard drives I got sitting here. And why do you think he's promoting that they got the 3 hard drives? Because he can't fucking get in there and understand what the hell's going on. He needs a password. He needs somebody to help break the code and get in there to figure out what's on there.
And did he not say one of them was Hunter Biden's? Did he not say
one of them? Hunter Biden's.
Yeah.
It could be the Russians. It could have this. It could have that. Going on. He's like, he goes, I got the evidence. I mean, the stuff that'll help us get off.
Let's remember, Rudy was the guy fooled by Borat. Remember that? Did you see?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Who was digging in his pants about to sleep with a teenager before it was revealed. Yes, this is Rudy, my crazy great-grandfather. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Did he get an award for that? Because I think she did.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
He's going to get some kind of award. Right. Okay. So let's get to this. So Jedi, you might have that slide there. But let's get to the last topic, which is the race card.
I just had mine renewed.
LeBron James, Jedi, if you're there, you can put that quote up there. The tweet that he put up there, and then I think Anthony might have something to say about it. But here's the tweet, if you can see it there. And then let's see. We got to read it, though. Can I read it? How do I read it? Let's see. Can't read it.
I can't read it either.
Okay. All right. I'm so damn tired of seeing the black people killed by police. I took the tweet down because it's being used to create more hate. This isn't about one officer. It's about the entire system. And they always use our words to create more racism. I'm so desperate for more accountability in capital letters. And then he had the other post that he had that he took down that he's talking about said, "You're next." And then it said accountability. And it became a big backlash, big story, I guess. That people are, on the right are trying to attack it or whatever. Hey, it's just more straight talk, from the people to the masses. And during a hot and emotional moment, and it had to do with the young lady that was killed from the stabbing death and the whole rigmarole with, you don't go into a knife fight or a gunfight with a knife. Remember how that whole thing? Yeah. Well, they went into a knife fight with a gun and they killed her, and they could have done other things. They could have used the taser. They could use anything else. And they chose not to. And this is, again, with accountability with the law enforcement that we're dealing with, along with everything else with accountability with immigration, with everything else we're talking about. But with this one, it has to do with the law enforcement and how they approach us citizens, we the people. And so that's what's under the microscope a lot right now. And so I like that he's reaching, everybody's calling for accountability right now. That's what we're talking about. So the accountability age is what we're slipping into, or what we should be in. And that's what I keep saying to everybody. And Anthony, I know that you had some hot points to talk about, so go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I don't know LeBron, and I don't know what was going on with this, but I can venture to guess exactly what happened, which I think is what happened with a bunch of people. Is we heard that a cop shot a black teenager, a female black teenager. So immediately everyone jumped to, this is a racist shooting, da-da-da-da-da, and LeBron put that out there, okay? Then we saw the film, and I saw it too, and you realize, oh, shit, she was about to stab someone. She had already knocked someone down in front of the police officer. She'd already been told to stop, and she didn't. If you look at the video, there's no way in hell you thought this person was a kid. She was big as an adult. And then she rushed another woman with a knife in her hand, and the cop took her out before she stabbed the other black woman. So could he use a taser? That's my question. I don't know. Maybe it's too far away to use a taser. Maybe a taser doesn't stop them immediately. I don't know. But he didn't. And he shot her. I think what he did was potentially save the life of the other black lady who was about to be stabbed. Okay? So was it justified?
But he killed another life.
He did.
So why can't they shoot to maim? I mean, are
That's
they
right.
Are they trained? Hold on a second. Are they trained to always kill?
Yes.
It seems like
Yes.
they're always training to kill. And
No,
so
they are.
How is it? But that is not the solution for every crime.
I agree, but what I'm saying is we can't go backwards now. If they are trained to shoot center mass, I watched all the shows after this. So yes,
retrain them to shoot differently.
I agree, we should. But to this point, when this happened, they were trained to shoot center mass and take the person down, and he did. So this is not the time to. This is a bad example to use if you're on BLM like I am. If you're Antifa general like I am, this is not a great example to use as racist shooting. I'm gonna tell a quick little story. The reason you don't use this is because it makes your program, your movement look bad. Martin Luther King organized or strategized that Rosa Parks was removed from the bus. Rosa Parks was planted on the bus to be removed from the bus. The first 3 women who refused to change their seats were unwed black mothers. And Martin Luther King and the organization decided they would make the race look bad and feed the stereotype if they put these women in front of the camera. So what they did is they asked Rosa Parks, who had a degree, who graduated from Alabama State, who worked in their staff. They said, Rosa, will you go sit on the bus? And refused to move. That way, when they interviewed her, she was highly articulate, she was educated, she was a great example of their race. That's a smart move. So when BLM wants to now say, hey, here's another example of a random uncalled for shooting, this is not a good example to make that. And LeBron, I think when LeBron saw the film, that's when he took down his Twitter response, because he's like, oh, this is not the best. This isn't the hill we want to die on. And I agree totally with that. And I came out on my Twitter, my Facebook, which has a mere fraction of LeBron's followers, and said the exact same thing. This is not the hill to die on. Should they be trained differently? Absolutely. Should they be trained to shoot someone in the leg? Hell yeah.
Yes.
So the girl was 10 or 15 feet away. He could have shot her in the leg, I think. And if he missed, what was he going to do? He might accidentally kill her. Well, accidentally kill her instead of intentionally killing her. And that's not just for this girl. This is for
everybody.
All those damn movies, we always see the cops, they get behind the door of the car. They try to negotiate with, but in real life, they just fire at their chest because they opened their Twix bar wrong. You know what I mean? Calm down, assholes. You know,
Right.
and that's why.
And so who's gonna say something?
Go ahead.
But I'm with you on that. So whenever there's a shooting, you know, somebody always wants to jump to the conclusion of, is it racist or is it a police reform action? Right now, I feel.
Right.
And so, that should be the items of topic, I guess, if you were to break it down. And yeah, this is part of police reform. And so, yeah, whatever. So it's not racist, it's police reform. And so that's a hot topic today.
No. And
What?
and these are all true things, and it's all part of the story. But let's just talk about LeBron and what he did.
Okay.
And, he definitely knee-jerk reaction and did what he did. He has 50 million people who follow him. So if I had that kind of responsibility, first of all, I'm not going to make a knee-jerk reaction. And then by taking it down, that's like admitting, you know, I probably shouldn't have done that. There wasn't, and I'm sorry, there was more of an excuse. And
Okay.
if you really want to make a difference, and again, I don't believe cops should shoot anyone. I don't care what color you are. But again, there's more black on black shooting than there is cops shooting black people. So if LeBron really wants to make a difference, there's a bigger picture out there. So with him saying, you know, this is causing more problems, more hatred, well, you know, I think LeBron's a total moron. I really do. He's a great basketball player. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. And for what he did was wrong. And what's he going to do? What's going to be, you know, the NBA is really quiet about it. The Lakers aren't saying anything. Twitter's not going to do anything about it. And, you know, he's part of that. What he did was part of tearing down and creating more space between us. And a guy like him with that kind of influence, if he would have just not done what he did, could help to build, again, bring people back to the center. And he didn't do that. So again, there is a responsibility he has. I think he screwed up. I think he knows he did, but he really never apologized for that. And all this time, if he wants to be angry at the cops, again, he doesn't like cops, that's fine. I'm not a big fan either. But if I were in his shoes then, I wouldn't be hiring off-duty cops to watch my family and make sure I'm safe either. Kind of hypocritical. And LeBron can do whatever he wants. Again, I like basketball. I like watching him play, but I don't think I'd sit down and have a beer with this guy.
Okay, I'm going to address that. Okay,
right.
First of all, your first point is always the racist point, is black people are shooting more black people. LeBron can pick anything he wants to pick to defend. That's his life. He can choose. If he only wants to concentrate on cops shooting unarmed black people, then that's his right, just like Kaepernick's was to protest police brutality. It had nothing to do with veterans. You don't get to decide what he protests and what he defends and what part of the movement. He can do whatever the hell he wants to do. Okay, so LeBron didn't cause the death of anybody. The people that are responsible in this are the cops that are shooting unarmed black people. They're responsible, not LeBron. Because LeBron was wrong one time out of hundreds of these shootings does not make LeBron wrong.
50 million people.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many people follow him. He is right. We are absolutely right to jump when we hear a cop shot a citizen. We're absolutely right to jump to the point that it was a white cop shooting a black citizen, because we have learned that. It's just like if you got bitten by a white dog 50 times in a year, you would avoid white dogs.
Right, but
eventually you would avoid dogs.
It's okay for LeBron to feel that way, but is it responsible of LeBron to put that out, that to 50 million people that reads his tweets?
Right.
So
what's less responsible is the cop who is shooting people, and it goes out to all of the world, which is billions of people. So let's not get caught up in the woods with LeBron.
We've seen the videos, we know the story, and yes, that could have been handled differently. But now we know the story. As much as you and I would make a knee-jerk reaction, not again, I'm not going to tweet that. I'm going to have that self-conversation in my world. I'm not going to tweet that because he knew what he was doing. He didn't just say, well, I feel emotional and this is how I do emotion. He knew exactly what he was doing.
No, okay, and I agree with you, Stevie. Before I tweet out any of those stories, I check them because I don't want to like an ass. But you know what the difference between me tweeting it and LeBron tweeting it is? No one has spray painted the N-word across my house, and I'm not black. So I imagine LeBron's 1,000 times more emotional over this than I am.
He's led a life,
and I'm extremely emotional over it.
A life of privilege.
It doesn't matter. He will still be killed because he's black. He is quicker to be killed as a black person on the street because he's big and black.
Right.
No one's checking his bank account before they put a bullet in his head.
Right. I want to say something.
Go ahead, Mark.
Okay. All the major shootings, the school shootings, and just recently a grocery store was shot, and something after the grocery store was shot. The one for the grocery store, the guy was Syrian, but he looked white, okay? So they shot him in the leg, all right? The next one after that was white. All the major shootings of all the schools and everything else, all white people, but they weren't killed. They all went to jail. But the black people, they don't have to say anything. They just have to look wrong and they shoot them and kill them.
Right.
They're not.
I that it's wrong for cops to kill anyone, and I agree that it's disproportionate. But I also know the bigger picture is, you have brown on brown, black on black, white on white. There's where most of your killings are. And again, I'm not going to discount that it shouldn't be a segment at all, but it's a small segment. But we really do need to address it through retraining of the police. I agree with all that.
Disarm them. Disarm them.
Okay.
Because he wanted people to have a nice day. And again, if he just would have waited like you did, Anthony, he would have never have done that.
Right.
Never have done that.
Right. I'm not going to. What do you say? We only arm these people with tasers. The average cop out on the street, take their guns away. There's only 50 cops shooting. More people were killed than and a gun be involved.
Armed people anyway.
That's right. 5 of these shootings. They caught him hours later. Occasion they will catch people are just randomly her gun. The cop.
Yeah.
There was for what an expired registration, and if you're black.
Yeah. Shouldn't be
Back of the head, and not in the back of the head.
Yes, and weren't there? We don't know that they were serving one shooting at the guy anyway.
Right.
Let him drive off in his car. They are.
Let's go back. He wants to increase the taxes. That after there's been a 90%, after Korea went up again, office, we were $8 trillion in debt.
Obama.
Oh, the roads and bridges is around again. All right. 4 years later,
right, Marvin.
Somebody's got to pay off the damn debt. Not raise it to 39%. Raise the damn thing to 50% and just pay off the debt.
In 1955, the maximum tax rate at the highest category was 92%.
Yeah, there you go.
92% in 1950, $37,000 a year.
Yeah.
Okay. And before Trump, the corporate tax rate was 35%. I believe he can raise it, I think, to 28. He's not even taking it.
29.
Yeah, not even taking it to 35. And people, and what's funny, what is hilarious to me is it's the poor ass people being raised, and it doesn't even touch their ass.
That's right.
They're not even close to a 92% tax bracket or the highest tax bracket, which I believe is now 36%. They're not even close to that. In fact,
Nobody's bringing nobody's talking about what happened in the past. They're not talking about.
That's right. The rate was raised.
That's
It's
right.
like it's like you're trying to hand them food and they're slapping it out of your hand.
You're right.
You're exactly right. History always what happened in the past and how the rich pay taxes always in the past, back and forth, expensive taxes that they pay or less taxes. They're used to that with the fluctuation of the presidents.
Well, like Trump only paid $750 in taxes in 4 years or something like that. Come on.
Right. And Microsoft and Amazon paying $0 in corporate taxes.
Yeah, because
Zero. A great person to follow on Twitter is Robert Reich. He used to be he's a very honest guy, very good guy. He tells you, this is what this means. This is how it used to be. This is where the money goes. He is great at breaking down exactly.
In San Francisco.
What's his name?
Robert Reich. Yeah, Reich.
he's in San Francisco.
R-E-I-C-H. I know as a Jewish person, you don't want to write that name down, Marvin, but it's like Third Reich.
Stevie P knows him. He can get you connected to him. Anyway, hey, I want to debate between the two of you guys or anybody else that we can bring on is the hot topic about the black on black, white on white crime, that type of argument. And if you guys are up to that, we're looking into our pilot show coming up, and we need to have something like that. That'd be good. So if you want,
it's very interesting. It's not really black on black and white on white. When it's not a black-white thing, it's actually poverty
in place or in question the human spirit, travel or high our world peace
Well,
parks
that's
about.
what you do today, and it made me laugh. Why don't we take poor people all happy? Because anger, just take a bunch of antidepressants, get jacked up on coke, like we did with comedians saying, you know what, I'm straight now, and I'm not drunk, and I'm this, and I'm better. Well, no, they're not better. They're just different. And give them happy pills. They'd stop shooting each other.
See, and I would go, because I've never used a pill and I'm totally against drugs, legal or illegal. That's not solving the problem. Solving the problem is giving these people opportunities and good jobs that pay well, then they don't need the pill. Right?
And then again, if the jobs are there, would they take them?
Yes. They take shitty jobs now. They have unemployment to almost zero.
Well,
so where are all these lazy people?
These are shitty jobs, you know. I feel a little insulted. Marvin could probably vouch for this. He's older than I am. You and I'm right between both your ages. I work fast food, and these were our part-time jobs. And people now, like in California, I couldn't believe people did this for.
That was my first job. What you're saying, those were my first jobs.
But what they did was these kids today, they don't have to get working papers from their guidance counselor when you're 16. They can't do those jobs.
I kind of hate, I was at Wendy's and McDonald's and I kind of hated them, but you did them because you were starting off. But the difference was, if you look at the numbers and adjust for inflation, back in those days, you could work at a fast food place, as I did my first year of college, and still pay for rent and electric. You cannot do that now because of inflation. So if actually the off of it.
17 are not getting applicants.
Really?
Really.
They're what?
Not getting applicants.
$17 an hour to
They're
start.
not getting applicants yet.
Not filling the jobs.
$16 an hour. And there were people that had worked there for 20 years and were making 18 something an hour. So they still kept them until we're making 22. I bet they pay your ass 22 because they're going to lose $500,000 today.
On the other side is get another job. Leave.
Yeah.
Leave. You know, let the guy live and let live. Let him cycle people through his business. That's the model he wants for employees. That's his model. That's fine. And
could we not agree? What you're saying? Could we not agree that you and I, that let's pay $15, $16 period for the, not cause they're underpaid?
I don't think we need to prove people are shitty. And
Okay, I do, because I want to kill them.
$15 an hour where you live is different from $15 an hour where I live.
No doubt.
That's right.
So-
That's
No
right.
doubt.
Right. So this whole thing about blanket $15 across the board ain't going to work.
Right.
And
The governor of Alabama makes $15 an hour.
you know what?
So-
I'm leaving. I'll be able to say y'all and yeehaw. And do that. I could do that. But you know, it is what it is. So again, we had the choice to say, I don't want to do this anymore. Like you did. I got educated. I got out.
Yeah. And yeah, that was what was so sad. I always say is I had to sign the dotted line and potentially risk my life to get out of poverty. That's sad, but that was the only route I knew that I could do. So yeah, that was sad.
Well, gentlemen, I just want to say thank you very much for being on the call.
Wait. I thought you were thanking us. You said gentlemen.
Gentlemen, yeah,
not
I'm, sorry.
us.
I'm working with
Just Marvin.
That's the Corona talking. Okay, and then I want to just say thanks for coming, everybody, to the Hot Topic Hot Potato Roundtable discussion. I know we were just talking about finances and paying people's wages, and I have wages to pay for this show. And on that hot topic, I'm going to suggest that everybody goes to our website. That if you like this programming, thegreatinternetdebate.com, to the very bottom and hit the Patreon button and click on that, and you can either pay $3.02 because the minimum is $3, and we have the 2 cents so we can get your 2 cents. And then there's another one that's like $5.02 or something like that, and then we have another one that's $24.02 or $25.02. So if you want to be a supporter of our show, if you like what we're doing, you want to be on the show, please join us at thegreatinternetdebate.com. Find us on YouTube, at the bottom of the page. Thank you very much. Twitch, and also Facebook on facebook.com, / and then Hot Topic Hot Potato, and then thegreatinternetdebate.com. And then I also want to thank our comedian on the call, Anthony Torino. We want to get other comedians on the call. Maybe you can get some of your friends to come on.
I don't have any friends.
Well, get your foes. And then Our World Peace Park, a nonprofit in the house. We're going to tag you in there and get you some more promotion with the fundraising for you. It'll be our nonprofit magazine, which is our sponsor. And we have this ad in there, and not this one, but the black and white one that you saw earlier. And this one here. And you'll find us there in Foolish Times, and you can join us. Thank you very much, everybody, gentlemen and ladies, and all of you Cinco de Mayos out there, and hot potatoes. Thanks, guys.
Are we off the air now?
We're going off right now, I hope.